Whether you're taking the most basic elements of the real world or something a bit more complex, sometimes it can be very strange when these sort of things are introduced into a video game. In this particular case with Boneworks, it's physics. That's not the physics of space or anything like that, but very realistic real world physics, how things react when they're hit. And yes, it makes for compelling gameplay. Now this video is a little different to my usual approach. In this particular case, I did want to do a playthrough of the first few hours of Boneworks. However, due to a few technical issues with my setup, it didn't really go as planned. So what I'm going to do instead is we're going to just introduce the topic. I'm going to jump into around about 10 to 15 minutes where I'm actually playing the game and talking through it as I'm playing it. And then at the end, I'll give a brief summary of my thoughts. Also during this video I did use the microphone built into the Oculus Rift S, and it's really not that good. I don't think I had it set up optimally either way, and it just doesn't sound too great, but I hope you can bear with me for the rest of the video because I genuinely think what Boneworks has to offer is going to be the foundations for the future of many VR games. Let's dive in then and see what it's like to play. Hey guys and girls, I'm Obsidian Ant and this is Boneworks, a brand new VR game that was just released today, and it's been widely spoken about as the next generation in VR games. And this is largely because of the nature of the physics in the game. Now I've bypassed all the tutorials here so you don't have to watch that, and we're just going to have a bit of a look at this level here. Is a bit of an eerie voice all around us. So it's a bit of a dystopian future, it seems, or dystopian future. Yeah, we're in a virtuality world, I do believe, called MythOS. And these figures that you can see down there, the ones on the floor, they are the little mechanical dudes that actually build things around here. Something's gone wrong and they're all laying about. And we may see some more of them as we go further in, but it does get a little bit on the weird side, I've got to say that. So what you see straight away here is the nature of the physics of this game is very good. No clipping through things. You can literally touch things touch what you want. This little dude here is kind of cute. Let me pick him up. We can pick him up. He doesn't seem to like being picked up, or he doesn't seem to mind too much. They should have carried on rolling around in a minute. Right. So we're going to keep going. Yeah, there's only one way pretty much to go. That says keep out, but I don't like the look of that guy there. And I did see a brick, so we're going to take this. These weirdos do attack you. Don't think they're meant to. Whoa! Yep, they do. They do like going for you a little bit. So he's got some damage on him. I'm going to bash him with a brick, I think, because we will end up dead otherwise. Come on! There we go. I don't particularly like doing that. It feels a little bit too aggressive. I'm smiling about it, but let's get going. Ah, look, and now we've got a hammer. Okay. Hammer's going to be a bit better to use. Now, on a normal VR game, what happens when you pick up objects is that you clip to them where the developers want you to hold them. But in Boneworks, you can hold them any way you like. If we had the Valve Index with the finger tracking, we haven't got that. We've got the Rift S, which hasn't got the same type of finger tracking. But if we did have that, then there'd be even more options here. So we've got to get through this door. Somehow. Smash our way through. There we go. And we're going to go on our way, this way. Let's keep going then. Right, padlocked, and I've got to say the scale of this place is actually very nice. Kind of like a holodeck grid, I guess. I was thinking it's a dome like on Mars or something like that, you know, on Mars in The Expanse, but it's not. This is a VR world. Let's get our way through there. Raffle day.
raffle box. What's in there? A ball. Okay, let's keep going. So, I thought that was birds initially, but it's not. And there's another weirdo over there, another weirdo down there. I'm sure these have got names. I'm just going to keep calling them bone weirdos because that seemed most appropriate. I'm not going to attack them if they don't attack me, but I'm going to keep going with this. Monogon Industries. Looks like there's a whole bunch of raffle boxes up there. I have to keep an eye on that guy though. Just want to see what's in here. So a can of food, some bricks. Bricks are good for bashing the bone weirdos. Another hammer. In fact, I'm going to go in the inventory if I can. Can I? No, I can keep that. Yeah, I can keep that on my back. I'm going to take another hammer because I want more than one hammer in case I lose it. I think that's what we're after. Come here. We've got a key. We may need that a little bit later. Oh, crap. Go, 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 go. None of that. Is he leaving his blood splattering around here? That's on my shoes. No, it's not. Right. I wasn't expecting him to wake up there. Initially I was, and then golf club. Would a golf club be better than a hammer? Possibly, you know. Let's see. Certainly got better reach with it. Okay. Let's go this way then. District 6 Virtual Sciences. So the game does use inverse kinetics on your character model, which allows it to kind of model fairly accurately where it would expect your elbow to be. Something that you'll notice, any fans of VR will notice doesn't normally happen with these sort of games.
Permanent bans may be issued to guests committing crimes.
Look out. What's that down there? That's a turret. So I can sneak around the other way. Now you do die very quickly in this. You don't really tend to regenerate health. If you've got a bullet wound, then you're pretty much screwed. How are we going to do this then? Let's try this. So, Captain America shield. Is it going to work? Let's push the thing on the floor. No. Oh, we got a live firing gun here. Well, yeah. Well, that was better than getting shot, I tell you. Gonna make me jump a little bit though. I don't want to leave my golf club behind. My trusty golf club. We're gonna possibly need that in a minute. Now, you will find things like this get caught on walls as you're walking around, so they won't clip through. They'll actually get caught up. So you do have to be a bit careful. Right there. Right. So that looks like. Well, I need to use that key. Right. So we want the key. Let's see if that fits in there. It does. Just here. Hey. Whoa. Oh no. So much for the golf club. It's crap. Stay down. The golf club is not as good as the hammer for a weapon. Right, there was a blue doorway back there, so we got the blue key. Let's stick that in the inventory. Let's stick that back there, I think. And yep, that's gone. And we will take the hammer. Now you can get guns in this game. I assume that's the way I've got to go. Multiple turrets. Okay, that deals with them, by the looks of it. When you see a lever, just pull it. You never know what it's going to do. Right, that opens doors. Let's turn it. Oh, I think that's how we're going to deal with that guy down there. He is well and truly done for. Right, let's get going. Yep, okay. Trouble is, where's those? Any more bone weirdos around here? Right, they got guns down there. I do think this is toughened glass, so I don't think they're going to be able to shoot me on there. What the heck are they riding and what are they doing? Okay. So is there different types of creatures here? These other ones are more like zombies, aren't they? How odd. I'm going to go before they see me. I'm knocking everything over in the process. Right, so over here there is some objects dispensing system. We can purchase some of these. Inoperable geometry. The axe, looks like it'd be nice. The gun. Now to get these we need to trade in bullets. I've only got 145 and we need 210 or 300 for that. So we're going to keep going for now. And it's lovely little effects like this that you get in VR that you wouldn't get in the real world, of course. Yeah, look at that. So I'm not going to jump down. We'll force the ladders down. Now, everything in here does have weight. The heavier things will move, well, lighter things will move nice and smoothly like this. Let's just demonstrate the point. Heavier things, no, I don't want the, there we go. Heavier things are, I've got it caught. Heavier things are a lot more heavier to pick up, and yeah, it looks like you're going to bust your wrist with these. So much better to use two hands if you're going to use something like this. Yeah. It's a bit clumsy. I'd rather keep with my little claw hammer for now.
That's a bit of a taster then of the game itself. There is of course far more to it. This is just the very, very early stages, but nonetheless it should give you a bit of impression of what the game is like. Now there is of course combat available as well, and there's more esoteric weapons further into the game, physics based ones that, well, probably wouldn't work too well in the real world but work very well in virtual reality. Gunplay is also pretty good, and as you can see here they work pretty much as you'd expect them to, just as they would in the real world. Now in terms of the game itself, I've heard that there's around about 9 to 10 hours worth of gameplay here, and I'm not sure how that works out, because obviously in some of these puzzle rooms you can spend quite a lot of time trying to figure things out. I guess if you're either extremely dumb or extremely intelligent, that will dramatically affect the amount of time the game actually plays. Now of course there are a lot of puzzles here, entire rooms worth of them, but really I don't think the game is so much about puzzles as it is about physics. In fact, the physics are so robust within Boneworks that the game actively encourages you to cheat. Basically, you can manipulate or abuse the environment in any way you can think possible in order to overcome the challenges. It's a very unique approach to gaming, and it's something I took to very early on. You can see here in this waste disposal room, the floor up front, it keeps falling away every time something hits it. So every time there's a little bit of weight applied, you basically fall through. Same with this gantry, it actually descends every time a bit of weight is applied. And I actually need to get over the other side there, and there's no way to jump across here and actually make it. I've tried many different approaches. More often than not, this would cause me to fall through to my death, and I'd have to start the room again. Fortunately, the game doesn't place you too far back, but You do have to keep trying until you eventually succeed. Now, before actually solving the puzzle, I eventually noticed this grey bar, metallic bar, extending all the way along to the opposite side of the room. So I thought, let's tightrope walk along it. And you know, I was expecting it to feel like I was cheating, but it didn't. It felt like I was being inventive and creative in trying to find a solution to a very real problem. At the far end of the room, I was presented with another difficulty, and that was that the bar didn't reach high enough to enable me to get up onto the gantry that I needed to reach. But this was actually very easy. All I needed to do was reach up and dangle from the platform here and simply chivvy across. Essentially then, if you can do it in the real world, chances are you'll be able to find a way to do it within Boneworks. And yeah, this one did take a bit of stretching, especially up to that railing there, but eventually I did make it. So I've played Boneworks for a few hours then. Unfortunately, as I said right at the beginning of the video, due to technical issues I lost most of the footage, so couldn't do the playthrough video I initially wanted to do. But nonetheless, my big takeaway from the game so far is that it really does feel as though we're at the dawn of a new age. In principle, it feels very similar to 2004 when Half-Life 2 came out, and I mentioned this in my recent Half-Life Alyx video. But basically, when Half-Life 2 came out, it used physics in a way that had never been used before, and ever after that, games had never really been the same. And it kind of feels exactly the same here. We're toying with fundamentals, with things that are very basic, but extremely difficult to implement into game worlds. But I've got to say that now these sort of things are in games, it's going to be very, very difficult to go back to basic gameplay. After all, when you can interact with a game world in any way you can imagine, and in a ways that are very, very realistic, how can you really just go back to basic gameplay that we've had for the past 10, 20 years? I think whichever way you cut it, the next decade is going to be a very, very interesting one for gaming. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys and girls next time.